48 kills, Tarek GG, it's What the Moose here, and boy does it feel good to be back. I'm bringing you this slightly longer video today to tell you how to win ranked games using all of my experience from Season 2, and believe me when I say it's not going to be one of those wishy-washy videos where I'm going to tell you to buy awards or you need X amount of CS by X minutes and not to flame teammates. This is the real deal, this is going to make a difference, and I really hope you guys enjoy it. Firstly, the biggest thing that annoys me is when people message me after a ranked game and they tell me, Moose, I won my lane so hard, I beat him on CS by 100 CS, I was 3 kills up, but I had a noob team and I couldn't win. I always win my lane and I'm always stuck in yellow hell, how can I get out? And alarm bells already start ringing, because if you always win your lane and you're always 100 CS ahead, then actually it's probably not your teammates' fault that you're stuck in that elo, and it's probably your fault. You can't get that far ahead and rely on your teammates and expect your teammates to win every single time. What you have to do is you have to make plays. You don't get high elo by not making plays, you don't get high elo by playing safe. And yeah, I'm basically going to encourage you to go into ranked games and do stupid shit. I'm encouraging you guys to flash in 1 versus 5, I'm encouraging you guys to tower dive at level 1, I'm encouraging you guys to do everything you think that you shouldn't do, and everything that if it goes wrong, your teammates will flame you so much. And I'm encouraging you to do this without even thinking about it. Just do it like a natural instinct, like an instant response to something, because it could go right or it could go wrong. After you make these plays, you need to start assessing, did that go well or did that not go well? For example, you could be getting ganked mid, the jungler comes and you think, actually I'm going to try and flash in and go for a 2v1 here, and you actually get a kill. The mid laner escapes, but you got a kill 2 versus 1. You assess the situation and you think, yeah, that went well this time, so that if a similar situation arises in the future, you're likely to make the right decision without even having to think about it. And the best players at this are able to apply it to different champions, to different roles, to different stages of the game really well. And players who are slightly worse at this assessing skill will be able to do it, but they'll only be able to do it when it's a similar champion or a similar stage in the game, and they'll need more practice at assessing the situation before they can get really good at this skill. You need to know every champion you play inside out. You need to know exactly how much damage you can take at every stage of the game. You need to know exactly how much damage you can deal. You need to know what to do in team fights, when you need to engage, when you need to kite people and poke them down. Even in heavily outnumbered situations, 1v4, 2v5, you need to know when to disengage on low HP, and if it's safe for you to go back into the team fight and influence it, even though you're on low HP. You cannot risk dying and you cannot risk making mistakes. And once you got this down, it's so easy to start making plays. So, like I said before, in order to learn to make plays, all you need is loads and loads of practice. Lots of making mistakes, lots of your teammates flaming you, lots of losses in ranked games, but you need to remember, for everything that goes wrong, there's probably going to be a situation where it goes right as well, so you'll win a ranked game. Just ignore everyone that flames you and do stupid shit and learn from it. You don't learn to make plays by watching streams, you don't learn to make plays by watching my videos. You might be inspired, you might be encouraged, you might be influenced by watching someone stream, but you need to get out there and do it yourself. You need to see an opportunity and take it without even thinking about it. I mean, 2 different players can be watching the same game. One of them will see, we need to back out of this, but you might see, no, this is an opportunity for me to flash in, blind ulti in this bush and get a triple kill, then we're going to get Nash. And if you weren't on that team and you didn't see the opportunity, you might have lost that game. If you're the most fed person in your team, you can't leave it down to other people to make plays. And if you start making plays, other people start feeding off your plays and reacting to your plays, and it's a massive chain effect. The more practice you get at this, the less likely you are to make mistakes, and that is literally the only difference between people at 1800 elo and people at 2k. The map awareness is all there, all the way through that range. Farming's all there, all the way through that range. Mechanical skill is all there. The only difference is people are scared to make plays and people don't know how to make plays. So yeah, just get practicing, ignore the flamers, and always remember to assess the situation after, and soon you won't even need to think about it. You can kind of use a little analogy about this. You can imagine you're at a dinner party with 5 guests, and all of the 5 guests are trying to make a different conversation or making plays in League of Legends, and it's not going to go well. No one's going to be able to hold down their conversation. It's going to be really boring. Your guests are going to get really pissed off. They're going to go home. It's going to be a bad dinner party and you're going to lose the game. Now let's imagine another dinner party where only 1 or 2 people are making conversation or plays, and all the other guests are kind of getting involved, bouncing off the conversation, they're enjoying themselves, and they're likely to have a good time and likely to have a good dinner party, and you're likely to win the game. The best case scenario is, you know, there's one really lead eccentric guy, he's making conversation, he's making the plays, everyone else is bouncing off it, reacting to it, everyone's gonna have a good time and you're gonna win the game. It doesn't work if too many people try and make plays, but if there's only 1 or 2 people instigating the plays and your teammates react to the plays, that's when you're going to have a good time, and that's when you're going to start seeing differences in winning games and gaining league points. You guys need to think of it this way: I'm teaching you the process to make plays, but I'm not teaching you directly how to make plays. For example, you can teach someone to draw, but you can't teach someone to be an artist. That's something they learn through trial and error. Furthermore, you can teach someone to play music or play an instrument, but you can't teach someone to be a musician. That's something they learn again through trial and error and through practice. Now, I'm going to be honest guys, a lot of people are probably going to think I'm trolling, a lot of people are probably going to disregard this and say you're going to make me lose too many ranked games, or too many noobs are going to try and do this. But that's completely wrong. You need to take your characters to the limit, you need to test what you think is right in League of Legends and what you think is wrong, and just completely reevaluate everything. And it has to be in the proper environment. You can't really do it in normals, you can't really do it in custom games. It has to be in the right environment and you have to start learning from it. I mean, you could think I'm trolling, but this is literally how I learned to make plays. You don't learn how to make the sick plays by playing safe, and it is going to take practice, it is going to take people flaming you, but you're going to have to put up with it and just get practicing. If you don't believe me on this, that's fine. I'm just offering my opinion, and I really think you guys can benefit from learning to be a playmaker. Obviously this doesn't apply to every role, but in solo queue at some point you're going to have to play every role. So yeah, good luck making them plays guys. The next thing I want to talk about is kind of illustrated in this next clip coming up, and it's to do with when a jungler ganks your lane and there's not a lot of potential for a kill, there's not a lot of potential to force them to waste a summoner or force them out of lane, and you both overextend, you both start tanking the enemy minions, therefore your minions will be attacking their minions while their minions attack you, and the lane is going to push towards your enemy's tower and you're going to be liable for ganks, especially early game and especially if you don't have it warded. And this even applies just to harassing in lane. If you're mid or something, you harass them and you overextend too much, you tank the minions, it's bad enough that you take the damage from the minions, but also the lane is going to push towards the enemy tower and you're going to be liable to die. So see here, it's even on creeps in the lane, there's even mounts on each side. I can't actually see Sedrani coming in, it's just low replay showing all the vision. She's going to come in, start attacking me, and you notice immediately my 3 caster minions and siege minions turn onto Sedrani and Vlad, whilst the 3 purple minions and his siege minion are attacking mine. Therefore the lane is going to push because my minions weren't attacking his minions. It's going to come towards my tower and it's going to be a pretty good situation for me. I didn't blow a summoner, there's no risk of me dying, I still have flask and 3 pots. I'm going to be able to farm safely under my tower. Vlad's probably going to have to back, then I can push out the lane, back safely, get a ward and buy. I mean, You kind of get the idea what's happening from here, but just be careful if you're coming in to gank with a jungler. You could do more damage than good to a lane if you start tanking their creeps. You start pushing lane up and you could actually throw the lane to the enemy just by one fail gank where you can't see any harm being done, so just be careful on that one. The next thing I want to talk about is within the champion pool that you play, are there any tricks, those champions, that could help you to win your lane even better or win the game even better? For example, Brand, QE Stun, Anivia, ELT, and in this clip it's on Jax. Literally it's just auto attacking 2 minions before you go in for harass. You can either auto attack 2 minions and empower leap strike, or auto attack 2 minions and leap strike and go for an empowered auto attack. As we're going to see here, it's going to do a lot of damage and it's going to help you win trade. So look at that, that was an ulti empowered auto attack after the leap strike. And on Jace, for example, you can pop your W in ranged form and change to melee form to stop the damage reduction, so you get the full damage of the max attack speed if you pop the W in ranged form and then quickly change to melee form. We all know about Lee Sin, Q, ulti Q, but there's plenty of other tricks you guys can learn or pick up from different champions. I can make some more videos on them if you want to learn them or something, but it's just something to be aware of and to give you an advantage in lane if people don't know about that trick, or if you can abuse that trick to start winning the game. You guys need to remember that a team is only as strong as its weakest member, and you can't ever blame anyone in team for not performing as well as you think they should, because you're just as responsible for their performance as they are, and you should be helping them if they're not performing to the level that you expect. If someone's feeding or someone's not doing so well, it's up to you, because you're all in the same boat, you're all in the same team, and you all want the same thing at the end of the day. So stop blaming them and start helping them, and then maybe you'll start to see some rises in your league points. The next thing I want to discuss is the fact that CSing is not a competition, and you shouldn't look at it like it's a competition. You should never compare yourself to the enemy with regards to CS, and you shouldn't even look at their CS, to be honest. I mean, of course it's extremely important and you do need to kind of be aware of it, but it's only going to cause problems if you view it as a competition. For example, if you're behind on CS, your team decides to go for Drake, but you decide it's a better idea to farm bot to try and catch up that 10-15 CS. The enemy invades Drake, they ace your team apart from you, and they get the Drake kill. You're just going to set your team further behind, and you're not going to be able to farm anyway because it's likely that they're going to dive you bot. The only thing you need to worry about is getting as much CS as physically possible whilst being as safe as possible, and not even worry if you're far behind on CS, because you're going to have an impact on the game. If you're really good at CSing and you're not missing any, even on the tower, you're going to be fine. Just don't worry about little margins in CS, and remember it's a team game. Help your team, stick with your team, and yeah, it's not a competition. Don't view it as one, just play the game. Don't even aim, as people say, you need to get this many CS by this many minutes, because that's just not going to happen in solo queue. We've all played games in solo queue, we all know what happens in solo queue. It's not going to happen. In an ideal world, getting X CS by X minute is great, it's fantastic. If you can do it, go ahead. But it's not something that should be on the top of your priority list, just bear that in mind. This next piece of advice is also a really big one. In solo queue, we've all been in those games where you've got an Aurelia or a Jax top, they get first blood, the enemy jungler tries to gank them, then they get double kill, they're 50 CS ahead, and all they do is they stay top all game. The enemy team groups up, they ace you a couple of times, they take some objectives, you know, the enemy top laner catches up with your top laner, and all your Aurelia or Jax is doing is flaming you all game, saying noob team. Eventually they're going to come in, they're going to be pre-fed because they've been top all game, they've got all the kills, and they're going to start to Rambo 1 versus 5 and do nothing. The earlier you group up in solo queue, the better. That's just a rule of thumb. If you have a massive advantage top, just get the tower down ASAP and start grouping up your team and taking other objectives and forcing stuff as early as possible. The worst thing you can do is stay top, because the enemy top laner isn't going to stay there. He's going to start roaming, he's going to start moving around, and they're going to have massive benefits from the fact that they grouped up and you didn't. And the longer you stay away from your team, the more chances enemies are going to catch up. So a general rule of thumb, get your towers down as early as possible. Don't try and push advantages in a solo lane or even bot. Just group up as early as possible, like the Asian teams have shown us. Early aggression, early grouping, and not staying in one lane, farming all game and trying to push the advantage. My next piece of advice is about what someone once said to me, or someone once made a video about, and that is that to gain elo you need to play one particular role or one particular champion, and I completely disagree with that. Some players have actually done this really well, but it's my philosophy that you need to be able to play every single role to a similar level at your current elo range, and you shouldn't specify in a role unless you're playing in a competitive team. I mean, we all know in solo queue it's very unlikely that you always get the role you want in the first place, and you need to consider the fact that gaining skill at a particular role happens exponentially at the start, like a kind of bell curve. You play a couple of games and you notice a really big increase in skill, and then slowly the more games you play, the less and less your skill level increases until it plateaus off. From there, the only way you can really increase your skill level is by playing other roles and learning how to play against your own role and learning how to play against their roles that you're actually playing. It's like that saying, to conquer fear you must first become fear itself, and that is 100% true. To conquer AP carries you must first become AP carries themselves. Going back slightly on what I just discussed, if you're really struggling to gain elo, you should actually only play one champion, and that champion is Darius, because Darius is pretty much the auto-tune of League of Legends. If you can't sing and you're really terrible at singing but you want to be a pop star, play Darius. He's the auto-tune, he's going to get you the league points. Oh my god, I just realised how much cheese there is in this video. I gotta apologise for that, guys. You need to consider the fact that playing different champions are like driving different cars. Once you have your driving license, you should be able to drive every single car in the world. The handling might be a bit different, the steering wheel might be on the other side, the clutch might be heavy in one car or light in another, but you're going to be able to drive it relatively well regardless. All champions are essentially 4 buttons, and once you have your champion playing license per se, you know how to build champions relatively well, you know how to skill champions relatively well. You should be able to play a champion as well in the first 10 games you play it as the last 10 games you play it, and that should be a skill that every player should have. You shouldn't look at guides, you should try and figure out things by yourself to understand why you're doing certain things and why you're skilling certain moves, because that is also going to benefit you greatly. Moving on from this point, I want to talk about something I think is completely useless, and that is flat magic resist blues mid. Most people use them because other people use them because they've seen them on streams or seen them in guides recommended, but essentially you get 12 magic resist from the blues, and that 12 magic resist increases your percentage reduction from 23 to 31 on most champions. So that's a difference in 8% reduction, and early game 8% is nothing. Like an Annie Q does 80 damage, so essentially you're reducing the damage that Annie does on Q by 6.8, and obviously she's not going to only Q you once in lane, but even so the cumulative total of Qs is not going to be that much damage reduced over the first few levels. I mean, 4 or 5 Qs is going to be less than 1 auto attack in damage reduced, and I may have misunderstood this, I may be completely in the wrong, but I've tried to get my own take on things and not just build those runes and buy those runes because everyone else does it. I've tried to look at it, understand it and make my own decision on it. And for example, ability power per level runes scale so much better into late game with the percentage mastery and the percentage increase on death cap, so that's what I take. Mana regen runes also pretty useful on some champions. I'm not saying that magic resist flat blues are completely useless. I mean, if you're against LeBlanc or Kassadin and you combine them with say magic resist marks, or you get an early null magic mantle, it is going to make a difference. but generally speaking, I don't see the point in them. I've tried to do the maths to work out, and someone can correct me if I'm wrong. The next thing I want to discuss with you guys is playstyle. Your playstyle is like your real life personality reflected in game. Everyone's got a different playstyle. It's effectively your identity in game. And that's the reason that I don't analyse people's replays and tell them what to do, because I believe that it has a negative effect on people's playstyles. It changes people's playstyles and changes people's in-game personality, and that's the last thing you want to do. I mean, people can learn things, people can be inspired and encouraged from things to change their playstyle or to alter it slightly, but it has to come from their own decision. It has to come from something they want to do. When it's someone else telling you to change your personality or telling you to change your playstyle, you should never ever listen to them. And that goes in real life as well. You should never change who you are to please someone else. You should never change your personality. You should always be true to yourself and always be true to your playstyle in game. You can have similar playstyles to other people, but that essentially is where your creativity comes from and where your ability to make plays comes from. The final thing I want to discuss with you guys is the fact that you can't analyse League of Legends mathematically. Some people do try and do it. They try and look at the most efficient builds, the most efficient masteries and runes. They try and look at who came out better in gold trades, for kills, for tower dives, for dragons, but it doesn't work like that. League of Legends is a beautiful game and it's so much deeper than you can think. I mean, if it was that simple, it'd be one in champion select. You'd pick 5 champions, the enemy would pick 5 champions, then a computer would decide who would win and you wouldn't even need to play the game. For example, if you're top lane, you're 6 kills, 0 deaths, you decide to go for a tower dive, but the enemy TF ultis you and the jungler comes in for a gank as well. It's 3 versus 1, you manage to kill their top lane, but you die and give a shutdown bonus. They get the shutdown bonus gold and 2 assists, and you get a kill. So mathematically they came out on top, but psychologically you just killed someone on their team 1 versus 3 under the tower, and they're going to be fazed by you, they're going to be scared of you, you've asserted your authority and they now recognise you as a threat. You've demotivated their top laner and motivated yourself. Further to this, you need to consider how much value a kill is on a skilled player compared to a lesser skilled player. For example, a kill on double lift may be worth more gold or more value than a kill on player X, for example, and a kill on you may be worth more value than someone else, and that's no disrespect to anyone else, that's just something you need to consider. Moving on from that, you need to be aware that different players have different emotional attachments to certain items. They may have performed better with certain items in the past, and they may get motivated to play better by buying certain items, whilst they may not be the most efficient for the gold that they have or the role that they're playing. For example, the enemy could come back with a BF sword, while your AD could come back with a build water cutlass, and while maths might say that's not the most efficient choice, you're going to lose out on trades, you're not going to be able to play as well, that item might encourage and inspire the player and give the player the belief he needs to team fight, and whilst he has that belief that he's stronger, he's going to perform better, and you need to be aware of this. And you need to think about that before you flame your teammates for making different item choices. So that's about it for this video, guys. I really hope you've enjoyed it. I've got so much more to say, but we've been going on for quite a while now, so a massive thanks if you stuck with me to the end. I really hope you do gain some rating from this, and whilst most of the points are pretty controversial, I hope you understand where I'm coming from and I'm not trying to troll anyone with this. If you like this video or if you really enjoyed it, please give it a like and a favourite on YouTube, it helps me out a lot. Share with your friends on Twitter and Facebook, tweet some people. I really want to reach this out to as many people as possible and help as many people as possible gain that ELO. If you like what I'm doing, please subscribe because I'm back for good, and apologies to all of my subscribers that I let down during the last 5 months. I really hope this makes up for it. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.